here's something kind of fun. I need to get a drink of water. Hey friends, what's up? Kaz here. Welcome back to another episode of American Truck Simulator. I'm very excited to be back in this. Once again, the map rescale is in full effect. As you can see, 3.56%. Last episode, we went from Fresno, which was our main base, all the way up to Ukiah. And then I drove up to Eureka because this is one of those cities that I haven't been to yet. And Redding, I think. No, Hornbrook is the other one. So I kind of want to do that. Somebody actually told me on the video that Santa Maria is a new city, and I couldn't really find the list of new cities, and I was really hoping for Sedona, which would be like right in this section. I'm wondering if I've gone up and down that. I'm wondering what's out here, if there's like some cool overlooks. But anyway, let's get into the episode and get on the road, and we can start chatting about life and things. So we're starting in Eureka, and we could do 50 grand for that, all the way down to Camp Verde. It's gonna be quite the hike. That's probably gonna be like 2 episodes at least. And I think we might actually do that just because we need to get some money going here, because I want to get an extended cab for my my truck. I want to be able to upgrade it and stuff, and I can't up here. I do have 50 grand on me, which I think is enough to do that. I actually don't even know. So we got cars we can bring down to Phoenix, Camp Verde, which is pretty close to where I want to go. Trip time 26 hours, 1,000 miles. I think we might do that. That'll be the first 1,000 mile journey that we've done. It's gonna be okay. Well, let's take a look, because that's gonna be backtracking on a lot of the roads we've already been into. But the roads right here are pretty sweet, so that'll be fun. And we'll get back over to Arizona, and then maybe we can get back up to Hornbrook, or I think Santa Cruz is one of those other ones. So I think we're gonna do this one, and we're gonna get it done here. I don't know how long this is actually going to take in real life. I'm going to try to keep an eye on the clock and see if we can keep this at like a half hour, and then we'll cut it and keep it going here. Let's get to the job at hand. We're in 5th gear. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're all the way up in the northernmost part of California, which actually the roads are pretty cool up here. Lots of trees and kind of windy and like... oh, geez. Okay. Nope. Man, I really hope they add VR support to this game, because that would be amazing. I know we talked about that a little bit in the last episode, and that would be insane. Oh, actually, here's something kind of fun. I need to get a drink of water. My water bottle is the exact same color of my green screen. It's hilarious. I think it's funny. I don't know. I was just playing around the other day, and I don't know, just goofing off. I mean, the first thing I did when I got the green screen, first of all, I was surprised at how easy it worked, or how well it worked. With very minimal lighting, actually. I do have like a fill light. I have a backlight going, shining down on me, and then I have like these tree lights that are just that are daylight, and they're bouncing off the ceiling kind of, and that's like the main light, which is from this spot. So it's kind of like a up and down a little bit. Oh, hey, there we go. We can go. So we still got to go get our load. I forget what we're hauling even. I never look at that. I don't know. I should, because there's some achievements that tied to different... Ooh, look at that. Some water. Look at the water. It's so pretty. So anyway, also wanted to say happy Thanksgiving, because that's when this episode's going to be coming out. Hopefully you guys are making it a great day. Oh, I didn't even say, hey, thanks for tuning in and watching the series. The support for American Truck Simulator has been fantastic, and that's really cool to see. because this game's really fun. I mean, it's super chill. It's not like Ark where it's just crazy frustrating. Ark is a game that I love to hate because game can be frustrating. Okay, so where is our trailer? Our trailer is around the corner, I believe. So we need to MLG back up this Pro. See if we can do this without going into the external cam. Oh, we're gonna shift it. We're going into reverse 3 even. Look at us flying. Okay, now we're going down to reverse. Yep, there it is. Ooh, are we gonna hit the fence? I can't see the other. I think we got it. I think we nailed it. Nailed it. Yep, got it. Okay, there we go. Now we're starting that 26-hour journey. I wonder how many times we're gonna have to sleep on this journey. Fortunately, when you're doing the map contracts, I mean, they pay more, but you have to do. It's kind of weird, like when you're doing like in-game contracts. It goes by game time. So like if you're in the middle of a delivery, you can go, oh, I need to run, and you can shut down the game and it won't matter. You can come back, pick up where you left off. But you really need to be careful about how much you sleep in the game and all that stuff. And then when you're doing external contracts, you got to do it real life. It's actual, only available for 17 hours in real life, and that's when the contract expires. So then, but then in game, it doesn't matter so much. So you can sleep as much as you want as long as you get there within a real life time frame, which is pretty crazy. It's a very different, I think. So our drivers are really making us a lot of money, which is really cool. On our hike up to Eureka here, Eureka. There's not another R, so I don't. Okay, we're gonna go because I don't know why they're not going. Now they're going. And they can wait for us. So on the trek up here, it was like a 100-mile journey, which is like, I don't know, it's like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes maybe. And over the course of that, we had to pay our loan, but then we had enough money come in. We weren't actually working, our drivers were, and they were making us money. So we actually ended up 0, and actually we're now moving ahead. That's the turn signal. And I'll show you why. Here we go. This is what you need to do as soon as you start hiring drivers, is you need to come in here, you need to select the driver, and you need to have them focus on long distance, because they're going to pay the most for long distance. Once they get up to that 5 or 6 mark, then you can start giving them other stuff to up the amount of money they make. But that long distance is the big key. That's where they are going to make the most money for you. Now they're not going to make money. It's kind of weird. It's just like if you're doing real life jobs and you're taking short jobs, you're gonna have more money coming in short term, you're gonna have money come in a lot more frequently, but it's not gonna be as much. Like those long distance drives really just exponentially go up in the amount of money that you bring in, which is really kind of crazy. So when you're starting out, that's really what you need to do. I know we're talking about this on episode 30 of this series, but I think I've talked about it earlier. I don't know if I have. We're going to go up. And then the 5 over is pretty much the limit on when the cops are going to give you tickets. Now, the trouble with doing that is if you go down a hill and you go like 1 or 2 miles an hour over, you're going to get fined. However, after the map rescale, I think there's a little bit of a forgiveness or grace in that, where they're not gonna, because I saw a cop passed me and I was like 2 miles or like 7 miles over, but I was only 7 miles over for like a few seconds, so that was kind of interesting. Anyway, getting back to Thanksgiving, guys. Hopefully you guys are having some fun. I know sometimes hanging out with family is not always the most fun stuff to do, especially if it's like family you'd only see like once or twice a year. It gets kind of awkward, but the thing that I kind of always considered it is take the time to really like practice your people skills because it's family. They're not going to really look at you that weird if you mess up, but like not that you're going to mess up, but like the big thing for like meeting people and interacting with people. So the key for meeting people and interacting with new people and people you don't know really well is to like ask questions. Like people love to answer questions, and it's a way that you get to know somebody and understand a little bit more about them. And then the second key with that is listen. Pay attention to what they're saying and hopefully and try to remember it. I know that's difficult because wow, we are flying down this hill. I'm terrible at remembering stuff, and I'm still bad at this. I'm terrible at remembering names, and I'm terrible at remembering like just random stuff about people. My wife's really good at it, which is kind of crazy and surprising. She's not the greatest with the names, but she can remember faces, and she always knows, oh yeah, that's person blah 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 from. I can't remember their name, but I can tell you everything else about them. It's really kind of amusing. And I remember back in college, I made it a point to do this, and somebody told me this is like when you meet somebody, try to use their name like once or twice. Not overly, because it's going to be weird if you're like, hi Bob, how are you doing, Bob? It's a great day, Bob. You know, people are going to be weirded out about that, but use it out loud like once or twice in the conversation, like especially if there's multiple people. That kind of makes it not so weird because you're like, okay, I'm directing my question at you. It doesn't get so weird. But you could do this in your head as well, and that's what I mainly did. Was like I'd introduce somebody. Okay, this is Jake. Hello, Jake. And I'd be talking to him, and I'd just like, okay, Jake, and that worked for me. And it might be different for you because I'm just terrible at remembering names, and I haven't been practicing that very often, or exercising that. So I really need to work on that. But anyway, yeah. So talking to people and asking questions is kind of like the best way to like meet people and talk to new people and not be scared about talking to new people, because you're like, oh my goodness, what are we not going to talk about? And really, like, those questions are really there to try to find like a common ground, and then you guys can like talk about whatever. So for guys, and this is kind of like, oh geez, hit my microphone. Let's get it back here. There we go. So for me, like, one of the difficult things is like every guy, it seems like, well, maybe not every guy, because obviously not me, but a lot of guys, it's all about sports and football and baseball and basketball or whatever is out there right now, and I don't care. I don't care about football or baseball or basketball or hockey. I don't mind watching I like watching baseball live. Hockey watching live is always fun. And football's okay to watch. I'll watch the Super Bowl with some friends because that's pretty fun. You just hang out, eat some food, watch some funny commercials, and then there's some football in the middle of it. So, but I just don't care. So people are like, hey, you know, they're trying to find that common ground. They're like, yeah, so what team do you root for? And I'm like, I don't really. So I try to like keep up a little bit on sports so that I could kind of like respond to them of like, oh yeah, you know, they didn't do too well last night or whatever, and then they kind of like keep going. But I think they realize I don't know a whole lot, so they kind of do that. It's just funny. I follow the weird sports, I guess. I follow like the UFC fighting, and then I follow WRC racing. So whatever, you know. But really, like, my wife says that's her favorite thing about me is that I'm not like huge into sports, because her dad, oh, look at the biplane. Oh, can we look at him through the sunroof? Here we go. Oh, is he going? Where is he? We could go outside and I don't know where he went. I wonder if he's spraying the fields. I bet he's spraying the field. Oh, geez. So, you know, so like all those questions are really just to find common ground, so you have something to talk about. And like some of the, you know, you basically start with like family, work, hobbies, that kind of stuff. And you know, it's not weird just to be like, hey, so what do you do for fun, you know? And that's just like, once again, you're just trying to figure out, find if there's common ground. And then if they're like, oh yeah, I do I do like competitive bike racing. Well, you may not do competitive bike racing, but I bet you don't know much about competitive bike racing. So you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. How often do you race? When do you race? Like, where do you race? How well have you done? Are you, or whatever, what's the time? What's a good time? You can ask a lot of questions. So it's like being interested in people, and people like that. The favorite subject that everybody wants to talk about is themselves. So hopefully that helps you out. The holidays is like the best time because you're going to see those people, and those are the people that you probably, if you only see them like twice a year and you 6 months later go, oh yeah, hey, how did blah, blah, blah go for you? Because they're like, oh man, I'm stressing out. I got this crazy test, whatever. And then you meet up and you go, hey, how did your test go? They're going to be like, wow, cool. You really paid attention. And they're going to really like that. And then you're going to, kind of create a bond or even like just that they're going to like respect you a little bit because it's like, okay, this person actually paid attention to me. So hopefully that helps you get through Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. The food's fantastic. I don't eat a whole lot. I don't know. I never really like gorge. That's the word, not gouge. Totally different thing. Gorge myself, but turkey's fantastic. Stuffing is pretty good. I had this friend in college. Her family made stuffing with, I don't remember if it was raisins or craisins in it. Oh my goodness, that was the best stuffing I've ever had. And I really should just like call them up or message them and be like, hey, can I get the recipe for your stuffing? Because I want to make some now that I'm old enough and I have my own Thanksgiving with my family. Actually, our family's not really big enough to do our own, and Little Cause is only, 2.5. So we usually just go over to my wife's parents' house. My parents aren't in the area, and then her brothers and sisters all come around it. We're the only one with a little guy, but that's fine. He gets all the attention. It's so much fun. He's so cute. I'm really excited about Christmas this year, and he kind of understood like presents and stuff last year, but this year he's really gonna get it. It is so fun. I've been loving this year ever since he turned like 18 months. He just started like being aware of everything and paying attention to everything. And his little personality's coming out. He's a little helper at heart. He loves to help. If I ever need him to do something or whatever, I'm just like, hey, can you help me with this? And he's like, yeah, and he cleans up, like picks up trash and stuff. It's so funny, and sometimes it's pretty disgusting because we're like at a restaurant or something, or like out in public, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna pick up this nasty thing off the floor and throw it in the garbage. And it's like, how do you say no to that? It's so cute. I was so excited about Halloween. Halloween I was just looking forward to going out and wandering around when he was Scooby-Doo, and he's like, I'm not Scooby-Doo, I'm Scooby Daniel. So, which was just adorable. But he'd been wearing his costume all week, and then it came go time. It was crunch time. We had to go get the candy. We're like, all right, little buddy, let's go. Let's suit up and go get some candy. And he's like, nope, ain't happening. And I tried to get him in there. He's like, He started screaming. I was like, okay, I guess we're not going to go trick-or-treating. And so then he helped me hand out candy to a few groups of kids. And then he's like, okay, I see all the costumes and the buckets. Now I get it. It's just kind of like he's at that age where it's just not a motivating thing. Candy's not like always at the forefront of his mind. And that's totally fine with me. If he sees it, he'll want it. But he doesn't like go, oh, I really need some candy right now. And so we're kind of like, oh, let's go get some candy. He's like, I don't see it, And then he suited up, and it was adorable. And, oh, we're going underneath this bridge? Oh, yeah, I drove across this bridge on the way. Oh, and I was wondering how this would go. Too bad it's at night. Dang it. What is that out there? What is that? Hold on. Is that That's not Alcatraz. No, we're not anywhere near that, right? That's not Alcatraz. What am I thinking? Alcatraz is outside of, is it Los Angeles or San Francisco? I can never remember. I suppose we're pretty close, but that's weird. We're like, is it Los Angeles or San Francisco? I'm sure you guys in the comments are going to let me know. So trick-or-treating was fantastic. He goes up to the first house and he's like, I don't know if I've told this story in the last stream. I don't remember. But he goes to the first house and he goes, I was like, all right, buddy. We've been practicing. We're like, I say trick-or-treat. He's like, twicko-tweet, which is just adorable. But he goes up and we're like, all right, what do you say? Powies. Like, okay. Can't really fault him for that. 99% of the time, that is what you say when you want somebody to give you something. And it was our neighbors right across the street, and they were like, they just loaded him up. So he's got this little bucket because we couldn't find his like plastic bumpkin. And if I remember, I'll overlay like some pictures. But he after like 2 houses, he's like, hold daddy heavy. And so I was like, okay, I'll hold your bucket. So it was so much fun. I think I had more fun than he did. I was so excited. So it's good times. I'm really looking forward to Christmas. I love this time of year. Thanksgiving's so much fun. You just get to hang out with a bunch of people. I love Halloween, and I think I've said this before because I really, and people have wrecked it, I know, but I like the idea of it just gets everybody out of their house and interacting with each other, and you give candy to random strangers. You're just giving treats and presents to random kids that come to your door, and that's normal. And given people ruin it by being jerks, and they like poison stuff and tamper with the candy, and it's like, seriously, can we just be normal human beings once? Why do we have to inflict harm onto other people? Could I have gone that other? It looks like I could have gone that other on-ramp. That's interesting. So, yeah, so we're heading into Thanksgiving. What else did I want to talk about for Thanksgiving? Getting together, eating food. And then, of course, I don't know if you guys do this, but we always, before we start eating food, we're always like, we got to give thanks. So we go around the room and we all talk about, we always say, I think it's at least one thing of what you're thankful for. So I kind of want to hear what you guys would be thankful for. Post in your comments below. Please let me know what you guys would be thankful for in this year. I love to see all the things that people are thankful for. I try to exercise thankfulness every day. And I feel like I do this okay, actually. Like, everything's perspective, when you're having a rough day and stuff is just not going right. My wife and I actually have a saying, and it's kind of morbid, not morbid, but it's pretty funny because we just say, it could always suck more. And I think that sometimes when you're thinking that you're having a bad day and you're like, oh, it's so terrible, this is like the end of my life, I'm just, this is so bad. And it's like, okay, you got a C on a test or something, or somebody said no to you, or you embarrassed yourself in some way, and you know what, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't matter too much. It's not a big deal, and it's gonna pass. People are gonna forget, and you're gonna move on, and life is gonna be okay. And I think that we need to remind ourselves of that. What is up with those lights? So that's kind of like my wife and I always talk about. It's like, whenever we're kind of feeling down or something messes up, we're like, oh, well, that sucks. But you know what? It could suck more. And, chances are there's people around the world that there's somebody out there that has a worse life than you, or has a worse day than you, or something like that. And your worst days are not always infinite. They're always temporary. They're gonna pass. You're always gonna be there, and you just gotta move on. And so I try to be thankful all the time. And we had a rough go at it with little Kaz coming around. He had a lot of troubles his first 7 months of life. He never slept more than an hour at a time, which I don't know if you've been around too many babies, but that's not normal. Babies usually sleep a lot. and all of our friends, we see them with their little sleeping babies. Oh, and they're so cute. And I'm totally happy for them. Like, I never like resented anybody or like, felt, oh gosh, this sucks that I have it so rough and you have it so easy. And I just try to remind them, like, hey, be thankful for what you got, because it could be worse. You could be what I'm dealing with. And by the grace of God, my wife and I got through it. We eventually figured it out with little cause, and then it was crazy. Like, within like, oh my goodness, it was like 3 days after this treatment thing that we did with him, he started sleeping through the night. It was insane. Like, we were so thankful, which was insane, because, like, and I think that sometimes when we're talking about thankfulness, and maybe right now you don't have anything to be thankful for, or you feel like that, it's like, oh man, life is so rough, I'm just always busy. But I bet you there's something that you can be thankful for. I bet you that there's anything to be thankful for, or maybe you can just say, thank you that I'm going to be able to look back on this at some point and realize that I can be thankful, that I'm going to get out of this and it's going to make me a better person, and I'm going to be thankful. Because I look back on that time that I had where it was just, I have no other words for it other than hell on earth. And I know it's probably it wasn't that bad. But I got 4 hours of sleep every night. My work was going crazy, working like a ton, and I was sleeping in another room because it was the only time I got any sleep. I basically, and then my wife's just going crazy because she's a champ. Oh my goodness, she did awesome, and we both just kind of like got through it, and by the grace of God, we did that, and we kind of look back on it, and it made us really appreciate more once little Kaz was better and like a normal kid, and we really just cherished how he behaved after that. And we felt kind of bad that like he was just miserable, so we couldn't really be mad at him because it wasn't like he was acting out or anything. He was a little baby, he just reacting. So I think that even if you're having a rough time, just hold on, it's gonna get better, and you're gonna be able to, this is gonna help you appreciate things are a lot better, or when things are a lot better, because it's not always going to be like this. And I think that sometimes when we get in this dark spot and we're like stuck and we're just like, oh, I hate my life is terrible, there's no joy in it, I don't get to do what I want to do, I don't have any happiness. We feel like that's always going to be there, and we feel like it's always going to be that way. And it's going to pass. It may not be today, it may be not next week or next month, but it will pass. Maybe it's like a seasonal thing, or maybe it is that you need to actually go in to a doctor and talk to them and go, hey, I'm struggling with this and I need some help. And maybe you do have some sort of imbalance or something that needs to get looked at, but I would say the majority of people out there, I don't want to say it's depression, but feeling down, getting stuck in a rut, feeling sad for a period of time, for a week or a few days. Everybody does that. I do that. I feel like you can see it sometimes when my video production starts dropping off, like I don't make as many videos. It's because I'm just kind of in a rut and I just don't feel motivated to do anything but watch movies and hang out. Right now, don't worry, I'm not feeling that way. The reason that we're kind of not having videos is because I'm trying to wrap up Ark, Scorched Earth, and the last thing that I want to do, and I wanted to do caves, but I can't do that because I'm doing solo, and I wanted to go into taming. Oh man, we're getting pretty close to wrapping up a episode here. Let's talk about this and then we'll wrap it up. So I wanted to go into caves, but I can't do that because I'm basically doing a solo. I wanted to tame a manti, and I might still be able to do that. Well, it's going to take too much time, but I might be able to do that after I get my wyvern. The biggest thing that I wanted to do was get a wyvern. So I'm taming up a fire wyvern. Spoiler alert for the last episode of Ark. So it's going to be a doozy episode. I might actually split it into 2 episodes because I did a quick computation on how long it is, and it's coming up on like 45 minutes. So I'm probably going to split it out into 2 episodes, but it's going to be a 2-part finale, and they're both going to be pretty long because, sweet goodness, it takes so long to tame up a wyvern. So anyway, I think that we should cut the video and come back at you next episode on Black Friday, actually. So remember, post below, what are you guys thankful for? Please find something to be thankful for. It can be something as easy as, hey, I woke up and got out of bed today. That's awesome. I'm breathing air today. There you go. That's something to be thankful for. I put my clothes on correctly. That I didn't know you struggled with that, but hey, that is something to be thankful for. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoy Thanksgiving. Please have some turkey on my behalf and enjoy the game. God bless.